5 developers make a video game, but no communication between them is allowed. And guys, since it's the holiday season, the theme for this episode is Christmas Nightmare. Sometimes these projects dissolve into absolute chaos, but occasionally we end up with absolute gems. That's why these challenges are so damn fun.
Before continuing, we want to thank GameMaker for sponsoring this video. It's an all-in-one solution that has everything you need if you also want to make a video game. It's fast, easy to use, and cherry on the top, it's completely free. Games such as Katana Zero and Hotline Miami were made using GameMaker, so it's a great tool if you're a full-time pro, but it's also awesome for first-time coders and hobbyists, especially with the visual coding option. You can export your games for free for non-commercial use to all non-console platforms, and GameMaker has a one-time perpetual license. GameMaker also has a thriving community over on Discord, for example, where you can share your work, get feedback, and troubleshoot bugs. So start making games today by downloading GameMaker using the link in the description. And with that said, let's get started with the first developer of our Christmas Nightmare Pass the Game challenge.
Hey everyone, I'm Lazy from LazyTeaStudios, the developer behind the open-world Metroidvania Amber's Tale. Now, when I first got the brief of Christmas Nightmare, I really wanted to avoid going for the typical 3D, first-person, jump-scary spooky game. So I went onto itch.io to find some inspiration, and that's where I found this character. And it made me think, if I was a child at Christmas, what would my nightmare situation be? Being on Santa's naughty list 3 days before Christmas. So I got to work making the character controller and hooking up all the animations. I decided to stick with a 2D platformer, as I don't think I've seen one of those on one of these Pass the Game challenges. I wanted there to be a very clear visual hook for the game. So I went in the direction of having a visual representation of the character's hope of getting off the naughty list in time for Christmas. So I added a slider and mocked up a manager script that slowly decreased the resource over time, and also added a couple functions that allow other devs to add or remove it. Now, this worked great, but it really didn't sell the effect well enough. So I went into the player sprites and created an emission map, and with a bit of post-processing, allowed the rim of the character's coat to glow in the darkness. I then tied the value of the hope resource to the size of the light that lit up the area around the player and scaled the bloom of the coat to match. With what we had so far, I felt the game could merit from some form of narrative, allowing you to connect with the character and their emotions. So I created a basic dialogue manager and an easy way to add dialogue to the game through scriptable objects, along with an interaction script and outline shader to help with identifying objects you can engage with, hopefully making the lives of future devs just a little bit easier. And with that, my time was up. I'm super excited to see the direction the other devs take this project, and remember to check out my Metroidvania Amber's Tale. The game lets you choose the order you unlock abilities and ultimately explore the world, so give it a wishlist on Steam if that's your cup of tea. Now, on to the next dev.
Hello everyone, and happy holidays from Helsinki, Finland. The beginnings of this game are fantastic. The animation, character art, and the controller have no business being this well made. And this is the best organized Unity project I have ever seen. Just look at this. I don't know who made this, but you, my friend, are on a path to greatness. I started by adding my usual audio system, which I often use in game jam games. After that, I added some running, jumping, and landing sounds. I made a dynamic ambient system, which plays some spooky sounds I edited and mixed at random order at random intervals. This is so the ambience would feel alive and not repetitive, and hopefully more disturbing. I also added polish by having it type out the text, as well as support some audio, which I then used to add some vocalizations to dialogue lines. I edited a sound for the collectibles and made this VFX for it. I needed it to match the pixel art style, and luckily YouTube's god of VFX got me covered as always. Another hero of game dev, Kenny, was able to supply me with some particle sprites. I added a checkpoint system, and I used it to reset the player if they fall too fast. Currently, there's no other way to die, and I'm kinda hoping nobody adds combat to this game. I refactored lanterns so you can turn them on with a match pickup that you can find in the world. Also with this, I added a simple inventory with a way to add and use items. Currently there's just a match, and it also counts how many gifts you found, which can then be used to unlock the story of the game and increase your belief meter's max value. I adjusted the player jump so they can jump over 3 blocks but not 4. This way you can make 2-tile-high tunnels or caves in the level. I added to the level quite a bit, as well as added the beginnings of a narrative and progression system with these memory boards. If you have enough collectibles, you can unlock the story. By the way, my latest game, Ruby Ran Away From Home, is completely free on itch.io. Me and my team would appreciate your feedback. This is Darkroom, signing off.
You wanna hear a scary story?
I was sitting in my room one day when I got this project. You know the project? The one that the whole video is about. That one. I started playing through it and it was lacking one thing. It wasn't scary. So I got to work. I fixed some bugs to start with and then spawned a bunch of eyes that look at you in the dark, and when the light turns off, they turn red. And it starts coming towards you. Can you hear it? It's coming. Don't let it get you. Your only currency is belief. It comes out when you're out of that currency, or out of belief. It's what caused that incident where your sister, it gave you the gift, didn't it? But you couldn't share it. She shouldn't have asked. That's all the sneak peek I'll give you for the story. You can recognize the thing that follows you by its distinct breathing, which is just me doing that kind of stuff, and its footsteps through the snow. I added a warped ghost of Christmas past, which tries to lure you inside of a cave to feed on you. Hopefully the next dev will be able to do something more with this, as well as the Santa Claus I made. I'm not an artist. Shh, do you hear that? So yeah, that's all for me. On to the next dev.
Hey everybody, I'm Chip. I'm an animator in the games industry. I'm also a part-time indie dev. You can wishlist my game Bloodpunk right now on Steam. So opening up the project, I see there's a lot of really creepy atmosphere going on. I really like the platforming controls, and it's a really interesting light mechanic. What if we can bring all these different mechanics that are going on right now together by gating the player right after the first section? So I made this really deep, thick fog that blocks the player from moving on until they collect all the presents. And then I made this Christmas tree that slowly lights up as the player brings them in. And now I can make the level design a lot more challenging. So I make these deep caves, these big climbing sections that the player has to leave the safety of the light and explore into the dark. But now we got this problem, where because of the way the light mechanic works, as soon as the player starts to explore into the dark, their light starts to get too low, they lose the ability to navigate where they're going, and then they just always will die to the monster. So I decided to add these fireflies around the map. And now these fireflies are kind of like the coins in Mario. They hint at the direction you can go, and they give you a little bit of light every time you collect one. But now we got this new... problem. But now we have a new problem. The game's just not feeling scary enough, and this is supposed to be a horror game. So I called up my friend, and I asked for some pixel art monster designs. I love this blobby monster covered in heads. It's almost like this monster feasts on the player and adds its head to its body every single time it gets a kill. And then I added a bunch of really horrible audio and screaming when the monster chases you. I also changed the monster's logic. Before, the monster would just sort of slowly move towards you until your light meter hit 0, in which it would kill you. But But instead, I made it now that when the light hits 0, the monster starts chasing you, and you have a moment to dodge out of the way. And the monster's got a lot of momentum, so after you dodge, it'll take it a second or two to change direction and come back at you, giving you just enough time to get to the light if you're real close. I then took the rest of the monster designs and I just sort of sprinkled them out throughout the level. I'm hoping that the next dev will find something interesting to do with them. Alright, that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to wishlist Bloodpunk on Steam. Also, a big thanks to my friend Tom C, who helped with this video. You can check him out on YouTube. Alright, bye!
Hi, I'm Barzda, a solo developer of the Christmas co-op shooter No More Snow. In this game, you step into the boots of Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus and battle Krampus through 16 snowy, danger-filled levels. No More Snow is available on Steam, GOG, itch.io and Nintendo Switch. I was amazed to see that the game is already well polished. I really like the atmosphere and the platforming feels solid. I'm not an artist and I had never worked on a pixel art game before, but you know, you can always cheat. I have a collection of 3D models I have made for my project. I lowered the resolution, turned on an orthographic camera and used Unity Recorder to capture a PNG sequence. Then I added it to the game, creating an animated, almost pixel art style Santa Satan. Next, I did the same process with the sister model. I noticed the previous developers intended to make this a 3-chapter game. I edited the fog wall and Christmas tree script to allow multiple instances in the game. I was inspired by the woodcutting props in the beginning of the chapter. This gave me the idea to set the second chapter in a forest. I wanted to create something versatile that could be used in multiple scenarios. I created a small script that triggers an event when enabled. Using this, I designed a puzzle where the player has to start a fire to burn a rope holding up a bridge, allowing them to cross a pit. I added a lever. With this, I made a few obstacles. In example, in a tunnel section, the player needs to find a lever to lower a bridge in a deeper area. I built a house, planted some trees, wrote a few extra character dialogues to enrich the story, and with that, my time was up. Thanks.
I am really excited to see what the devs did with this.
Still got my sounds. Hello.
I was feeling like when I got the project that the atmosphere was really there, but the payoff for when the monster got you, I was like, okay, this is the part that really needs to be sold for a horror game. So I spent quite a bit of time, just get a nice little chomp.
Honestly, I'm scared to share my reaction to the first time I saw that. It was horrendous. What's that? Oh. Monster ate my head. Okay.
I think I slightly screamed. It might be in the reaction video.
What the? Nope.
Oh, I'm so dead. I'm so incredibly dead. Holy, yes, I'm dead.
Yeah, it's very much the fear of the unknown when it comes to horror.
Yeah.
I think. Showing and seeing the monster that first few times, you just kind of become numb to it,
And that's why I think if we were to continue on this game, the fact that you have a bar at the bottom that's telling you when the monster's going to come really takes away some of that fear of the unknown.
So rather than having the physical bar, maybe hearing a heartbeat increasing the lower you get and that kind of stuff, rather than a visual indicator would be pretty cool.
Okay, somebody's changed my cave. Whoa. Okay, I get light from these fairies.
I think the level design in this project was surprisingly high quality, considering it's basically just a jam game. But even just in the first chapter, in the caverns, there's a lot of twists and turns and dead ends, but then not, and you can get around, and you kind of get to know the caverns. It actually kind of makes sense.
A present. Goodbye, please.
How you actually went round and you had to memorize the route you would take was really well done. It just would have been so much better if there was a checkpoint. Oh, come on. We need a checkpoint system really badly. I suck at these games.
We should have made lanterns like a checkpoints.
So I really want to just have in between more unknown. That's also why I added the eyes, for example. I want people to feel watched, like anything could come out of the dark, which I kind of feel was missed by only having the monster.
That's all well and good. Get to the bottom of the mountain. Get to the bottom of the mountain.
Because then it's like, oh, okay, I'm just waiting for the monster to come to me, and that's the only thing I'm really waiting for.
I remember now. I wanted to hurt her. She was playing with my dolls, and my mom said I should let her. Mickey Mouse.
I like the narrative in the game. It's very simple, but you know that you're searching for your sister, that you did something. You want to know what you did in the past to make this horror stuff to happen. And it will be interesting to expand it.
Tommy, where are you?
No, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Maybe in chapter 2 there should be like a new ability.
Yeah, one idea I had was I was like, oh, if you could unlock when you dashed, like a bright light would happen. You would use up a bunch of your light, but you would be able to get like a little flash to see an area, or maybe it'd push the monster back a little bit. It would like cost you something.
This game is surprisingly long for like a game jam game.
Really nice background, actually. Oh my, that looks great. I will make it Santa Claus.
Little girl climbing a mountain. This is kind of like Celeste.
You know, the core loop is there, so it would be really easy to expand this game by just sort of every chapter adding a new feature, maybe a new character ability, new puzzle mechanic.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. 100 devs make a game without communicating is just round the corner. It'll come out before the end of 2024. Alright, have great holidays, guys. Cheers.